Hello and welcome back to another video. My name is Pyro Prima and today we are going to talk about ancient history. Because today's topic is a theory I found on Reddit. It was made by the user called uncountable, and it's a theory about the ancient weapons and how they exactly are going to work. Because in his opinion, or their opinion, does not gender anything here, in their opinion, we now know all three of the ancient weapons and what their powers are. Now let's get into it. This theory is basically based on the assumption that the giant object encountered by Capone Beige in chapter 594 was also the means to which the Lulusia kingdom was, well, obliterated in the most recent chapter of 1060. And this is because both of these things are the ancient weapon Uranus, or Uranus. And this island that Capone Beige was sucked to is already a mystery for many people, and it was maybe there's the final road poneglyph also on that island, who knows? It's just that this thing just randomly flew there when Capone Beige first entered the new world, and they got sucked by the gravitational force. And now this could just be to show the craziness of the new world, but it could also be already the first teaser for, what do we call it, Uranus. Because now in 1060 there was this panel here, the panel of the destruction of Lulusia. First of all, these are 16 lightning bolts, the 16 holy bullets that even Doflamingo already called it. And many people think that these bullets came down either because Emu has some sort of insane devil fruit power or something, or it actually is because above the clouds here is Uranus. And Uranus, even if it is not the thing that we saw Beige get sucked in, it could potentially still be Uranus. It doesn't need to be the thing that Beige got sucked in, it could also be any other flying object. It's just nice to reference something in a different chapter. This was brought to the Reddit creators' attention by watching a video from Teching 101. Because they supposed that Uranus is a flying object with cannons. And these cannons, in the opinion of the Redditor, are disposed vertically on the bottom of Uranus. And that makes them believe that this weapon can only shoot straight down, as seen in the latest chapter. And finally, this brings me and them to the key point of this theory, that all the ancient weapons nullify each other. Basically, in a rock paper scissors system, or kawi bai bo, or what else do you call rock paper scissors? I feel like everybody has 100 different names for rock paper scissors. The idea is just that we have three ancient weapons, and there's always one ancient weapon that is strong against another one, and one that is weak against another one, like the simple theme of rock paper scissors. For that, we have a classical drawing from the Redditor that actually really shows how everything is going to work. We have Poseidon in the ground, which are all of these gigantic sea beasts. And those sea beasts, well, they have the upper hand in sea battle and are thus stronger than the ship Pluton, that is not as flexible and not as good in moving around in the sea like the sea creatures. And thus the Poseidon beats Pluton. Pluton is on the ship on the ocean around and can shoot not only vertically but also in different angles. So before Uranus can actually fly over Pluton, Pluton would be able to shoot Uranus down. But Uranus can beat the Sea Kings because Sea Kings cannot attack something that is so far in the sky. So Uranus can take all the time it needs to just evaporate all of the Sea Kings that are swimming around in the ocean. Then somebody else added on top of that this also adds into the free power system that we have in the world. We have the world government combined with the Marines, we have pirates, and then we have some form of neutral force, which in this case would be Wano or something, because Poseidon is in the hands of pirates. Poseidon is in the hands, in my opinion, there are multiple ways this could turn out in the story. Either Poseidon, because that's Shirahoshi, is with the Straw Hats, and the Straw Hats have Poseidon and can thus beat Pluton. And Pluton is going to fall into the hands of Blackbeard once Blackbeard like invades Wano now that everybody is gone. And Uranus is in the hands of the world government because Emu used Uranus to destroy Lulusia Island. Technically speaking, that means that all three big forces, Blackbeard, the world government, and the Straw Hat people, at least have one of these weapons. But we as the protagonist group with the Straw Hats have a bit of the upper hand here, because Frankie technically could also create Pluton, which would in turn mean we can defeat Blackbeard's Pluton and we can defeat the Uranus of the world government with the Straw Hats, because they have two of these forces and not only one. But the idea is just because there are three different forces, everyone has an ancient weapon and they can keep the other one in like track so that they don't act up and nobody goes into war with the other person. That is the idea here. Now, let's take a bit more look in the explanation. Uranus would be vulnerable to Pluton, since it is only able to shoot straight down, and assuming Pluton is a ship, which it most likely is, it was already called a battleship many times and Frankie wanted to build it for Luffy, so maybe it's not a ship but a tank or just a cannon or something. But we know that Pluton is something that is mobile, and it is probably either it has cannons if it's a ship, or it is a cannon itself, and thus is has the ability to shoot down a flying weapon before the flying weapon can actually get above it. Pluton would be vulnerable to Poseidon, assuming it doesn't have a lot of precision because it's just like for mass destruction. When trying to aim underwater is also like a different thing. We've seen like torpedoes and other underwater combat with Lost Submarine and these things, which mean there should be some form of like potential of fighting against the Sea Kings underwater, but maybe Pluton is just not built for that. Maybe Pluton is just built for aerial combat. And then we finally have Poseidon would be vulnerable to Uranus because it's incapable of reaching the flying structure, because, well, it's way up in the sky. And the Sea Kings are easy game to the weapon's deadly lasers. And finally, let me just show you an artistic representation of how the author of this theory has thought it will look. It's just as I said, the cannon shoots down Uranus, Uranus beams down the laser on the Sea Kings, and the Sea Kings attack the Pluton from below where it won't be able to defend itself. That's the idea of everything here and the gist of this theory. And, well, ancient weapons are a big topic where we don't know what's actually going on about them. And as I said, or thought about at least, maybe I didn't say it in that video, but let me tell you, Luffy's dream is crazy. Luffy's dream is something nobody thinks is possible. In the latest chapter 1060, we've seen all of the reactions of the different Straw Hats. Some say like, you really want to do that? Or how is that even possible? Maybe you can do that when you're the Pirate King or something. I don't know how being the Pirate King would maybe make Luffy's dream possible. Like the ideas of Luffy's dream maybe being throwing the biggest party or making sure that everybody laughs or something. Maybe that's possible, but when he's the Pirate King and has the most control over the world or something. But another crazy idea is, what if Luffy's dream is making the biggest game of rock, paper, scissors ever? That's a childish dream that makes everybody laugh because it just sounds way too stupid, but I have no idea how being the Pirate King might make that possible. Maybe because you have big enough of an influence to establish that. But, well, that's the idea of this theory, and I hope you enjoyed it. This is a video rather on the short side, but you get the gist of it. Uranus is a flying weapon. It doesn't necessarily have to be the island that we saw with Beige, but it for sure is a flying weapon. I will bet everything on that. I don't have much to lose here anyways. And it should be in the possession of the world government, because if Emu has a different weapon that can destroy this much, I feel like there's a bit of a power issue, and if Emu can just do that whenever he wants or they want, they could just destroy Wano and thus also destroy Pluton, which is like there. They could also just destroy the part of the Grand Line, the part of the Red Line where below it is... Oh my god, Luffy is going to use Pluton to destroy the Red Line, and with that he will destroy Fishman Island. so many, it starts to make sense now. Because, and as I said, Luffy has two of the ancient weapons at the end game. He has Shirahoshi as Poseidon, and Frankie will later build Pluton. He for sure will do that, so that they can win against all of the forces. And then someday they're just going to destroy Pluton again because nobody needs it. But I don't want to stretch anything out here. You heard me, you heard what this Fury is about, and I hope you enjoyed it. What is your opinion about it? Do you think that the ancient weapons are distributed like I said? That Uranus is with the world government? Blackbeard is going to get his hands on Pluton, and well, Blackbeard is also going... Blackbeard might also go for Shirahoshi. But if Blackbeard doesn't have Shirahoshi, well, we know that Luffy and everybody else is allied with Shirahoshi, and they might use her powers of the Sea Kings using the like the Noah or something, the Ark. There are a lot of possibilities with the ancient weapons. Because we are entering the end game of One Piece, I really feel like we're going to get big reveals in the future. I personally can't wait for 1061 because I couldn't dodge a few of the spoilers, even though I hate spoilers. And if those turn out to be true, well, I'm excited to see if this is actually what's going to happen. But that's it from me for today, and I hope you stay happy, healthy, and most importantly, cultured. This has been Pyro Prima, and we will see each other again in the next video. Until then, bye!